Puerto Rico. I bet you didn't see that one being the next in this series. But yes, for those of you who don't know, I am on a mission to make a video about every single national park site in America, and I'm organizing it by state/territory. There is at least one unit of the national park system in every single state and inhabited territory in the United States, with the exception of the Northern Mariana Islands. Very sad, I know, maybe one day. But yeah, today we're heading outside of the 50 states for the first time in this series and covering the single national park site located in Puerto Rico. Yes, it only has one site, so this video will be a little bit shorter, but I find the NBS sites in places like this to be so fascinating because the stories they tell and the places they protect are so different from what we're used to hearing about on the mainland in like the main 50 states. It's kind of like my main motivation in this series as a whole, to highlight places in the national park system that you might never have heard of and teach you about them and inspire you to visit them, hopefully. But Puerto Rico, and a lot of the American territories in general, are like even further outside the mainstream in terms of what everybody hears about and talks about. I find a lot of people have never even heard about like the smaller parks in their own states, much less that the National Park Service has a presence in Puerto Rico. Because of this, I find the stories of these sites to be just wildly undercovered and underrepresented when we talk about national parks. So in this video, I'm excited to rectify that situation and introduce you to the national park site of Puerto Rico. All right, for our only site of the video, we will head to the capital of Puerto Rico, San Juan, to San Juan National Historic Site, not to be confused with the San Juan Islands National Historical Park, which is in Washington State. Redundant names are another trend you will find across the national park system. This site is also one of Puerto Rico's and the Caribbean's most popular tourist attractions. It saw 1.3 million visitors last year, which I did not expect to see. Anyway, we talked last time about the Castillo de San Marcos in Florida being the oldest European constructed fortification in the United States, dating back to 1672. Well, the fortifications here at San Juan National Historic Site, which are the primary resources being protected at this park, are even older than that. They date to 1539 and are the oldest European constructed fortifications in the entirety of US territory, not just the 50 states. These fortifications were, of course, designed to protect the city of San Juan, one of Spain's most important cities in the New World. Today, the National Historic Site protects several main areas. First, and the most visited, is the Castillo San Felipe del Morro, also known simply as El Morro, after the promontory on which it was built. El Morro is the main fortification for San Juan Harbor, sitting right at the mouth of the San Juan Bay and defending the city mainly from seaborne attacks. The other main fortification is the Castillo San Cristobal, which sits east of El Morro and which was designed to protect the city mainly from land attacks, actually. This is the largest fortification at the site. Connecting these two forts and really encircling the entirety of what is today known as Old San Juan, or the Old City, was a huge wall, which was 50 feet thick and over 100 feet tall in certain places. Only about 2.5 miles of the wall are still intact today, including the famous San Juan Gate, but they are also under National Park Service protection. There's also a disconnected area of the park across the mouth of the harbor from El Morro called Fortín San Juan de la Cruz, which was built basically to further bolster the city's defensive options by providing crossfire back across the bay. So you'd have like one fortification shooting across the bay this way, and another shooting that way, and that way, like if there was a ship coming in, you would be able to reach them pretty much no matter what. As the second oldest European established capital in the Americas, San Juan served as a major stopover point for the rest of the Spanish Empire and was thus a highly strategic city, hence all of the fortifications. In fact, San Juan was one of the most heavily fortified cities in the Caribbean. After the Spanish-American War and the decline of the Spanish Empire overall, Puerto Rico was ceded to the United States, and these fortifications came under US military jurisdiction at that time, which they did partially restore them after the war, but by the mid-20th century, these fortifications were in danger of falling into disrepair. Recognizing their historical significance, in 1949, Congress transferred the fortifications from the military to the National Park Service, which, as is their main mission with historic sites like this, was tasked with preserving them from further decay and interpreting the history that they represented. Which I find fascinating, by the way. If you think about it, these fortifications are some of the only military/historic sites that were actually fired upon and engaged with by the US military, but which are now protected by the United States itself. Outside of like the Civil War, which obviously saw the US military firing on its own installations. But in terms of foreign adversaries, it's really interesting to think that these sites that are now afforded some of the highest protections available in the United States were once fired upon and conquered by the United States military. It's one of those multi-layered nuances I really enjoy about the national park system, actually. Obviously, San Juan and Puerto Rico as a whole were founded by the Spanish and retain heavily Spanish influences. And San Juan National Historic Site preserves and interprets mostly that era of history. But the fact that we even have the United States National Park Service overseeing the protection of a site like this in Puerto Rico only bolsters, in my mind, the mission of this agency to preserve, protect, and interpret the full sweep of the American story, even those bits that often aren't considered part of that story at all. So there you have it, Puerto Rico's lone national park site, San Juan National Historic Site. Sorry if this episode was a bit shorter. The nature of organizing this series by individual states and territories is that some states and territories only have one site to cover. So there will be a few more episodes like this in the future as we continue on with this series. Anyway, have you been to San Juan National Historic Site? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, direct support is always appreciated over on Patreon. If you like what I'm doing here and you want to help support my work, that is the best way to do so over on Patreon. I rely a lot on fan funding to keep producing these videos for you guys and keep teaching people about our national parks. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.